Hello viewers, welcome back again to our channel Literary Duo. So this is going to be the third part of the video series of Fra Lippo Lippi written by Robert Browning. In the second part we stopped at line number 165, and in this third part of this video series I would like to start discussing from line number 166. To recapitulate briefly, in the second part, we see that Browning was describing to the night girls about, the the speaker Fra Lippo Lippi was describing the night girls about the arts, about the incidents happened with him at his in his convent when he was child. Okay, so now let's proceed. I painted, all then cried. It is ask and have. Choose for more ready. Sorry, yeah, this is where I stopped in the second page. So let me start from line number 166. The monks closed in a circle and praised low till checked taught what to see and not to see. Being simple bodies, that is, the very man. Look at the boy who stoops to the pat the dog. That omens like the prior's niece to who comes to care about his asthma. It is the life. So at first the prior appreciated Lippi's paintings, but later on, when he observed keenly the art, he continuously criticized Lippi's paintings. They are shocked. The priors and priests that were there in the convent were shocked that Fra Lippo Lippi painted normal human beings instead of saints. Being simple bodies, that is the very man, they say. They think of his painting as too earthly. So they have a prejudiced notion about art, that art should be only having moral purpose. Fra Lippo Lippi's reaction to the sudden shift in their opinion is described a little further. So let's proceed. But there my train straw fire flared and funked. Their betters took their turn to see and say. The prior and the learned pulled a face and stopped all that in no time. So then Lippo says, but there my train straw fire flared and funked. His triumph was big at first, when they all appreciated Lippo's art, but it did not last very long. That is why he compares it to a straw fire. We know straw can burst into flames, but it extinguishes as quickly as it started. The triple use of the sound F. Here you can see fire, flared, and funked. So this triple use of sound F may point at the sound of a funking flame. Okay, the prior watches the paintings and calls it. What do we see? Let's proceed. Oh, was here quiet from the mark of painting. Bless us all. Faces, arms, legs, and bodies like the true, as much as P and P. It is devil's game. It is devil's game. So, what the prior says, the prior is indirectly watches the painting and calls it from the mark of painting. From the mark of painting. And what follows is a lecture about what real paintings should express. What real paintings should express and transmit in the prior's eyes. He mentions the perishable clay latter. We see that he mentions the perishable clay latter. Your business, he says, your business is not to catch men with show, with homage to the perishable clay, but lift them over it, ignore it all, make them forget there is such a thing as flesh. So, here the main debatable topic is that the concept of art. The definition of art to Prior is quite different, and to Lippo was different. So, this perishable clay is a reference to the story of Adam and Eve, we can say. According to one version of the Bible, they were made out of clay. Adam and Eve were made out of clay. So, this lecture we see that quickly reaches its climax. Prior says, your business is to paint the souls of men. The monks align themselves with Plato's dualism. We know that Plato's dualism says that the body and the soul to be separated. In this separation, the soul is the most important part. The painter should paint the souls of men and not be preoccupied with the physical appearance. So this was the key point what Prior tried to convince Lippo, that the painter should paint the souls of men and not to be preoccupied with the physical appearance. The Prior elaborates this thought and even points at the uselessness of arms and legs of characters in a painting. So Prior is criticizing Lippo's drawing. So he says, your business is to paint the souls of men. Man's soul, it is a fire, smoke. No, it is not. It is paper done up like a newborn babe. In that shape, when you die, it leaves your mouth. It is well, what matters talking? It is the soul. So they are trying to give their emphasis on soul. Give us no more of body than shows soul. They are trying to convince, please bring the soul, paint the soul in your paintings. Don't paint the body and flesh. Okay, blood and flesh. Give us no more of body than shows soul. Here is Giotto with his saint praising God. That saints are praising. Why not stop with him? Why put all thoughts of praise out of our head with wonder at lines, colors, and what not? Then Fra Lippo Lippi's thoughts about this artistic ideology start off with a rhetorical question. So this is a key point about dramatic monologue, that in dramatic monologue we find many rhetorical questions, and as we know, rhetorical question does not wait for the answers. So the now here we see in line number 199 say that, sorry, this is not line number 199. Paint the soul, never the mind, legs and arms. This is the thing. So let's proceed. Oh, that white smallish female with the breasts, she's just my niece Herodias, I would say, who went and danced and got men's heads cut off. Here in these lines, it is very much proven that the hypocrisy of Prior is divulged to us. That being a religious person, he had a relationship with his niece called Herodias. So this shows the hypocrisy of prior. Have it all out. Now is this sense, I ask. So in this line, the now clearly shows his interlocutors, that means the night guards at this point. He wants to start his own lecture about the topic. The last section of his sentence, I ask, can be seen as superfluous. It is a rhetorical question, and the only plausible answer for him is no. This is no sense. Fra Lippo Lippi thinks that it is possible to show the soul through the painting of human bodies. So he asked to the night guards, is this sense? I ask. A fine way to paint soul. By painting soul so ill, the eye cannot stop there, must go farther, and can't fare worse. This yellow does for white, when what you put for yellow simply black, and any sort of meaning looks intense when all beside itself means and looks not. So according to Lippi, the body is the extension of the soul. Through the body, the soul is portrayed, and beauty does not stand in the way of the soul. On the other hand, if beauty is all there is, the soul is to be found in the viewer and is pondering about this divine beauty. Okay? So soul is there in the body, in the structure. If you have the eye to look upon the things, it depends on the viewer, so to say. So let's proceed further. Why can't a painter lift each four in turn? Left foot and right foot go a double step, make his flesh liker and his soul more like, both in their order. Take the prettiest face, the prior's niece, patron saint. Is it so pretty? You can discover if it means hope, fear, sorrow, or joy. Won't beauty go with this? Suppose I have made her eyes all right and blue. Can't I take breath and try to add live splash, and then add soul and heighten them threefold? So there is fine. There we can see some rhetorical questions. He is questioning, he is telling the night guards that he had to obey their order. Okay? So he painted as they instructed him. Okay? And he also says that if I would draw a picture having a prettiest face, does not it has a soulful glance? So this is the thing. Suppose I have made her eyes all right and blue. So yeah, let's proceed from line number 215. Or say there is beauty with no soul at all. I never saw it put the case the same. If you get simple beauty and not else, you get about the best thing God invents. That is somewhat you will find the soul you have missed within yourself when you return him thanks. So now Fra Lippo Lippi brings forth the creation of God. That God has created us, giving us blood and flesh. So how can we deny the need of blood and flesh? So if we deny that, we are denying the order of God. So he is trying to justify his argument that not only art should be religious purpose for, but art should be realistic also. So, this dualism is a recurrent theme in this poem. We find this theme very recurrent, the conflict between realism and idealism. So, that is somewhat you will find the soul you have missed within yourself when you return in thanks. Rub all out. Well, well, there is my life in short. Rub all out. Well, well, there is my life in short. And so the thing has gone on ever since. So he is telling this story to the night guards, and he tells that Prior told him to rub all out what he painted on the cloister wall. Okay, so this behavior and action takes places in line 20, 224 and 20, 225. So this is how he divulged his childhood story and his convent life towards the night guards to gauge sympathy for the night guards for the misdoing he has done for wandering in front of the brothel's house. So let's proceed. What happens next? I am grown a man, no doubt. I am grown a man, no doubt. I have broken bounds. You should not take a fellow 8 years old and make him swear to never kiss the girls. So here he is questioning against those convents which were there in that time. They forced the poor child to live the convent life. So is it justified that a 8-year child should carry a life of convent life? So he's trying to say that he does not completely live the life a monk is supposed to live because of the fact that it was forced him when he was very young. This can be easily aligned with the criticism against child oblation from the 11th century onwards. So, and make him swear and to never kiss the girls. So, we know that religious people don't give importance to body and flesh, and they abandon those child to having pleasure, the bodily pleasure. Here we find this intense instance that they also told them to don't told them not to kiss the girls. Okay, so this is the thing. The conflict is very much there in this poem about body and flesh and blood and flesh and the realism. I am my what? Sorry for the disturbance. I beg your pardon. Let me continue my discussion. So I am grown a man no doubt. I have broken bounds. So I have discussed already these lines. So let me proceed from line number 226. I am my own master, paint now as I please. Having a friend you see in the corner house. So now he is telling the night guards about his present status, that he is now free to paint whatever he wished to paint. Having a friend you see in the corner Medici. So Fra Lippo Lippi contrasts the free way of painting for Cosimo de' Medici with the conformist one of the monks. According to him, he can paint freely because of the fact that he has a friend in the corner house, namely Cosimo de' Medici. And through the utterance, I am my own master, paint now as I please. Having a friend you see in the corner house. So Lippi talks about his master in terms of his friend. See that he talks about his master in terms of friend. This might be seen as a hyperbole. He thinks of the monks as old fashioned and narrow minded and stresses this by repeatedly using the old, as we see further that he says that Lord, it is fast holding by the rings in front. Those great rings serve more purposes than just to plant a flag in or tie up a horse. And yet the old schooling sticks, the old grave eyes, are peeping over my shoulder as I walk. The heads shake still, it is art's decline, my son. You're not of the true painters, great and old. Brother Angelicus, the man you will find, Brother Lorenzo stands his single pair, fag on at flesh. You will never make the third. So here let me uh, discuss these lines together. So here he says the monks as old fashioned and narrow minded and stresses this by repeatedly using the word old. So Fra Lippo Lippi is ironically attributing artistic authority to the monks. Okay, and here you in the line number 239 we would find Lippi's one of slip tongues. You keep your manners, I will stick to mine. I am not the third, then bless us, they must know. Don't you think they are the likeliest to know? They with their Latin, so I swallow my rage, clench my teeth, suck my lips in tight and paint. To please them sometimes do and sometimes don't. For doing most, there is pretty sure to come a turn. Some warm eve finds me at my sense, a laugh, a cry, the business of the world. Flower of the peach, death for us all, and his own life for each. And my whole soul revolves, the cup runs over the world, and life's too big to pass for a dream. And I do this while things in sheer despite and play the fooleries you catch me at in pure rage. So Browning's constant satire on learning and pedantry is more surprising. Considering the wide range of his own reading and love of the out of the way knowledge, it is difficult to grasp why he should have felt so strongly on the subject. Okay. Browning masterfully created the illusion of spoken interaction in this poem. One beautiful example of this occurs in line 239, where Browning inserts a sleeve of tongue, as I have already mentioned. Fra Lippo Lippi. You keep your mistress manners, I will stick to mine. He starts off with mistress, but then corrects himself. What the heart thinks, the mouth speaks actually. To describe his recitation towards the disapproval of his work by the other monks, Brother Lippo Lippi is talking about how he swallowed his rage. He is trying to get across the fact that he obeys the will of the monks, as he says that to please them sometimes do and sometimes don't. Nevertheless, in the following lines, it becomes clear that his rage could not be swallowed temporarily. He describes how he is working on his painting in the evening. Some warm eve finds me at my sense, as he says. Browning inserted a metonymy in a rather ironic way. Fra Lippo Lippi is talking about my sense and thus uses part of the painting to point at the whole. This is ironic because he already clarified his rage, his dislike of this overlaid theme of this painting. Therefore, he's raged back out, and it does so in the form of the guilty pleasures the policemen find him at. He says, and play the fooleries you catch me at in pure rage, lines number 253 and 254. So let me stop here. I would make part 4 of this video series of the poem Fra Lippo Lippi. Let me stop here. Till then, thank you.